Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk to you about this article I ran across. Well, two articles, really. One is from just a few months ago, earlier this year, really. Another one's from 2017. So I'll start with the one from 2017, really. It's about this interesting piece of technology called a glass battery. Now, the glass battery was put forward by a whole bunch of scientists, but led by a guy named John Goodenough, who is the co-inventor of the lithium-ion battery, which we all know about, I'm sure. Pretty much in every Tesla car or every electric car, and every single cell phone, pretty much. Laptops, pretty much every battery uses lithium-ion, except for the little AA's and AAA's and so on. I'm pretty sure most of those aren't. You can get lithium-ion versions, I think. So basically, they put forward this concept of a glass battery. It was very much prototyped, and they were projecting all sorts of possibilities it might have. And so what John Goodenough basically was positing is you see that we have the possibility of doing what we've been trying to do for the last 20 years, and that is to get an electric car that will be competitive in cost and convenience with the internal combustion engine. So this new battery technology could store intermittent solar and wind power on the electric grid, and frankly, it sounds really, really promising. There's all sorts of features it would have, such as being able to increase its battery life with time. So rather than deteriorating like lithium ion, it would decrease. It's also non-flammable, so increases in temperature wouldn't be an issue. And apparently it performs better and increases in technology. Now, back in 2017, they were a lot more skeptical. Yeah, they're a lot more skeptical, and understandably so. So one of the apparently the glass battery can, yes, according to here, it says it can charge in minutes rather than hours, because the lithium or sodium doped glass endows the battery with far greater capacity to store energy in the electric field. So the battery can, in a sense, behave a little more like a lightning fast supercapacitor. And it's capable of thousands of charge discharge cycles. So that's when you charge fully and use up the battery fully. It performs well in extremely hot and cold weather, which lithium-ion batteries do not perform too well. They get worse with heat, and I believe they get worse with cold, but not too much cold. So they've still got problems, like he said here at the end of this article back in 2017. The next step is to verify that the cathode problem is solved. So they had problems with how they would actually get it to work. There's safety issues. There's problems with the actual feasibility of how widely they could scale it up. But then in 2019, it's moved along a bit. I think it's still very much experimental. But, they talk about how it keeps getting better. So it faced criticism over this. Basically, they were saying that they had this idea for a battery that could increase this energy that it can store with age, which seems to defy the law of entropy, that everything decays, essentially. And they have a response for it. Because they're continuing to publish peer-reviewed papers about the work, which, if you're peer-reviewed, that means it's pretty much like no one can actually discount what they're saying. I still find it fascinating. John Goodenough, he's 96 years old. It says here that 96 he's still researching and publishing his papers, like the scientist's 1/3 his age. And he's still publishing other things that grab many headlines and all that. But I find the battery, this glass concept of a glass battery, and I mean it's called a glass battery. It's not made of glass. It's just the way in which it stores energy involves glass. It's a bit of a misnomer, really. And basically, this battery would be non-flammable. But this way that it came about the increasing the energy would be around that. So not only, sorry, I'm just seeing here now, it says twice the energy density of traditional lithium-ion batteries. So the way they came up with this idea that it would increase over time, I believe, is a bit later on here. So basically, here we go. So in the glass, electrolyte is a ferroelectric material whose polarization switches back and forth in the presence of an outside field. So charge and discharge cycles are effectively jiggling the electrolyte back and forth, and perhaps over time finding the ideal configuration of each electromagnetic dipole. So as you charge and as you use the battery and charge the battery, it's essentially it's tuning itself better, and so it's getting better at storing energy over time. So that's why they say, get increase in capacity. And apparently it's also lighter, massively lighter than lithium-ion batteries. So we're going to have a lighter battery, a battery that's non-flammable, has larger storage, almost twice the amount of lithium-ion battery, and further on afterwards. And the non-flammable is a big deal because that's a massive safety concern with lithium-ion batteries. You have to have battery control systems that keep them cool, keep them safe, and they're heavy because they have to seal off the battery banks from each other. And so there's a lot of promise here. And personally, I think if we find an alternative to lithium-ion batteries, and maybe the future of the electric technology will be a lot more promising, because that's a major concern. Currently, we can't really replace everything with electric cars and so on right now because lithium-ion has many concerns, especially with scale and production costs. So they're still obviously very expensive, which is why the Tesla cars and other electric cars are really expensive. But I love the fact that we have options, because as we keep going, that there's new technology that comes out, and I'm very fascinated in the stuff and other things that John Goodenough has worked on. I was taking a look at it a few weeks ago, reading up on John Goodenough, and yeah, I think that people like him are definitely good people to have in the world, because the lithium-ion battery itself has changed the world, and I think that if he can do that again, that'd be excellent. Pretty short video, I know, but I just wanted to sort of share my thoughts on this, because I always am very interested in the advancements that we make in technology, especially in the light of just the way politics and societies are going. There's a lot of pessimism about the future, and I'm personally an optimist. I think that humans have the ability to innovate our way into solving a lot of the problems that we face. So I am both cautious and worried about the future, but at the same time I'm very optimistic and excited about the future, especially with the technology that we have. Because if we can come up with batteries that, far exceed the capabilities of the batteries we're currently using, and if we can come up with cars that far exceed the capabilities of cars that we drive right now, and so on, I think that we'll be able to improve our situation. And that's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of Elon Musk, is because the same goes with him, is he's taken things that we've taken for granted and he's improved them. He's, good enough is not good enough. And I think that, if we can do better, if we can innovate, if we can improve, and we can transform what we've got, why not do it? So yeah, if I come across anything else by John Goodenough, or if you happen to know anything about this topic, please do share a comment down below, because I would definitely love to learn more about it. I'll leave a link to the 2 articles in the description, and you can read up on it yourself if you'd like to. That's it for now.